Hello. Welcome to the J Spot. My name is Jasmine. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you are watching this, then you, much like me, are a depressed college student trying to figure out what the fuck to do about it. And I don't even mean to curse like that. I just really feel for you in this situation. I have had depression for at least half of my college experience, and I'm trying to deal with it in healthier ways now. But before, I was really spiraling, and it showed in my grades, and it showed in my mental health record, and it showed everywhere. So I don't want anybody going through that, even though I know it kind of comes with the territory for some people. Some people have a great time in college. Some people, meet people and party hard and go to class and do their fucking thing. But I didn't have that kind of experience. And this video is for people like me who didn't have that kind of experience. I am outside at my mother's house today, giving you a little bit of a change of scenery, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and I'm sorry for my videos being so damn quiet. I try to be quiet because I have roommates and a little bit of my anxiety. I don't be wanting people to hear me, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't professional yet. But it's okay. We'll get there one day. If you are watching this, know that your depression is a good thing. It's showing you that you're unhappy. It's a chance for you to make yourself happy again. It's an indication that you need to change something, and if you've watched any of my other videos, I always bring up Jim Carrey's quote, and he said that depression is your avatar telling you it doesn't want to play the character you're trying to play anymore. I don't mean to get on here and take depression lightly or make a joke of it or anything like that, because it's not funny. I've been in depression. I know exactly how unfunny it is. Trust me. It's something that a lot of us deal with more than we would expect. Sometimes we don't even know that we're going through depression unless you've been through depression before and you're going through it, especially when you're in college. Because my family, especially in the Black household, it's very taboo and uncommon to openly talk about mental health. Like, you don't just go up to your mom and say, I'm depressed. She's gonna be like, go depress them dishes. So, it's in my house, depression wasn't something we spoke about. My mom didn't deal with it. My dad dealt with it, but he didn't really talk about anything like that until college. A couple of reasons that we might go through depression include loneliness. I didn't have friends majority of my college experience, and it was my fault. I would admit that, because I was kind of antisocial. I chose to work majority of my time there, and I didn't make a point to make genuine connections with people. But also, the girls that I was around the most weren't friendly. Like, they weren't fucking with me. I mean, if you ask them, they'll probably tell you otherwise, but I know a vibe when I feel it, and I know there were parts of my character that they didn't like, and that's okay. I'm a different person than then. I can recognize, the parts of me that needed some addressing. But no, loneliness is very serious, and that can very much lead to depression. Another one that we might go through during college is anxiety about the future. I was very worried about how I was going to turn my career into anything, because how I was going to turn my major. I was very worried about how I was going to turn my major into something. A lot of kids worry about that. What are you going to do after college? You got to be an adult now. Now you have responsibilities. If you've seen that TikTok, sorry. I know, I'm lame. Okay. If you have responsibilities, and now all of this stuff that you have to deal with after college, people get anxiety about that, especially me. Disliking your major or your school, that could play a major role in getting depression, because that makes or breaks your whole experience. You don't want to be, if you're sitting in your room unengaged, disliking your school, that's gonna just start you off the bat with a poor outlook on your college experience. Me personally, I wanted to go to Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. I did not want to go to the school. I go to Illinois State University. I did not want to go there. And my parents, for financial reasons, put me at Illinois State. That's where they gave me a lot of money off of my tuition. And Spelman would have been $50K a year. So clearly I wasn't going there, but I had hoped for so long. I was so set on it, and I'm convinced that I would have had a way different experience with the girls, with school, with the boys, everything, you know? And the last one is not being social or getting involved. Sitting in your room all day is going to make you feel like shit. It's going to make you lonely and depressed, and it's going to just end badly. Guys, don't do it. Like, if you aren't in college yet, I hope you guys can hear me with this plane. If you aren't in college yet, please remember that. Like, don't sit in your room all day. If you aren't getting along with the people that are in your circle, you know, go outside of that circle, meet new people, and try to make more friends elsewhere. There are people there for you. You can find your people somewhere. But also sometimes that can get kind of tricky, because a lot of the time college campuses are messy. Like, the kids and the social scene is messy. At Illinois State, it was so messy, and I'm not one for drama, and I'm not one for gossip, and I'm not one for petty, catty, fake, phony ass girls. So all of that was going on at ISU really turned me off to the social scene. I didn't really want to participate. So I get it. School, if you don't like your school, I highly recommend transferring, period, because there's no reason to stay at a school you don't like. If you do not like your school, go. I don't care if you are a fucking senior in your last semester, go. If I had the opportunity right now, I would totally leave, but I'm almost out of financial aid from FAFSA, so I have to stay at Illinois State. But I wish I had this thought 2 years ago, you know, so that I could have got out of this situation. So let's talk about some signs and symptoms of depression. Number 1, staying in your dorm or apartment too much. Like I said, that loneliness or not getting involved and not being social on campus will keep you in your room. You know, I found myself eating in my room by myself. I would do homework in my room. Like, I stayed in my room too much, way too much. And I wasn't going to class, so I was in my room way too much. And that just turned terribly for me. It gave me social anxiety after a while because I didn't know how to be around people. It was ridiculous. Number 2, not participating in any clubs or organizations. College is about networking, essentially. If you're not going to make it about the education, because who cares about that part? If you're not going to make it about that, make it about networking. You should get into as many RSOs, organizations, clubs, all of those things, teams, as you possibly can. And plus, those very people will be the ones that you know well after college. Those are people that you are going to build the strongest connection with, you know. And you're supposed to find your friends for life in college, right? How are you going to do that if you're in your room and not... My poor dog. She's limping. She's so old. I feel bad for her. How are you going to do that if you aren't, you know, trying? So it's very important. Number 3, skipping class or not keeping up with assignments and not caring. This is a major sign of depression. You do not like your school. You do not like the curriculum. You're not even engaged enough to try at the very thing that you're actually supposed to be there for, the actual school part. So it's time to leave if you're in that situation, period. You should not, you know, force yourself to stay in a situation that you hate. Number 4, excessive drinking or smoking. Oftentimes when we're depressed, we try to find a distraction. Mine, unfortunately, was smoking. That took me down a whole path of mental health issues that I don't even want to get into, but that shit really fucked me up, and I am highly recommending that you do not turn to those. And honestly, it's more common than you think, because when you're in college, most people smoke like every day. But if you find yourself smoking multiple times a day, like in the morning, at night, before class, after class, all of those times, you have a problem. You really need to quit for a while, reduce, or make a point to, you know, reduce your intake. Number 5, not looking presentable every day. I used to wear sweatpants and look homeless every single day in college. Like, I really did not care about my appearance, and that also keeps you away from making friends, because who wants to be friends with a bum? And plus, people don't like respect you after a while. Now, okay, let me rephrase that, because it is college. You do wear your leggings and your sweatpants to school, you know, to class, because who's about to look cute every day for a 9 a.m. class? No. But also, If you only dress like that all the time and you're not really taking care of yourself, that's not good. That's a poor reflection of self-love in a way, you know, and it is something to be alarmed about. You should try to get cute at least 3 times a week, you know, 2 or 3 times a week at least. Or maybe you can make the sweatpants a 2 to 3 times a week thing. Either way, you don't need to be wearing sweats all the time. The last sign of depression that I have in college students is eating too much unhealthy or fast food. If you are just eating your life away in college and you gain that freshman 20, okay, because we passed the 15 because we're depressed and we just been eating. No, that's a major sign of depression. We cannot do that. We have to make a point to get out of it, you know? So those are my 6 signs and symptoms. Now I have 11 tips for dealing with your depression in college. Number 1, whatever you don't like about your school, change it as soon as possible. If you don't like your major, get out of it. If you don't like your teacher, get out of it. If you don't like your class, get out of it. If you don't like your, school, get out of it. That is my number 1 tip, because there's no reason to put yourself through things you don't want to go through. Like, especially when there are other options. Like sophomore year, when I realized I hated my major, I did nothing about it. I should have been changed my major. I should have been transferred, and I considered it, but I didn't really go through with it or, attempt to really solve my issue. And it turned into something way bigger. I ended up being hospitalized due to my depressions. I had, a lot of situations come out of it that I could have avoided if I had tried to make myself happier by changing my life. So whatever you do, don't try to stick it out. That is bullshit. If your parents aren't behind you, do it anyway. I would get out of that situation. Whatever you need to do to make yourself happy, do it. Number 2, get dressed and leave your room every day. Do not stay in your room, okay? Get cute. If you're a girl, put on some flat pants. If you're a boy, whatever, get cute. If you are sitting in your room every day in your sweatpants or not getting dressed at all or anything like that, it's going to turn into depression. It really will. Like, you have to get out there and be social, put yourself out there, and just being around people will really distract you from that for a little while at least. And that's how you make friends. You're not going to make friends from inside of your dorm, so it's very important that you put yourself out there and get out of the house and feel better. Try to make yourself feel better. Get dressed. I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. Plus, when I was in depression, feeling ugly and fat and not myself, putting on cute clothes every day and going to class looking cute really helped with that. So always get cute when you're feeling down. Number 3, exercise every day. This is very important, and obviously most human beings skip this step. You need to exercise every day, especially if you're in college, because we're avoiding that freshman 15 at all costs. We are not dealing with that freshman 15. We do not want it to turn into no freshman 20 either, baby. So we are going to the gym or working out. And plus, that helps you relieve anxiety and stress from class. And that's going to just make you feel better about yourself, because you're going to be looking bomb with your little cute gym body. So it's very important that you go to the gym. At least 30 minutes of exercise per day will help you keep down all of those, will help you release those hormones and help you to, limit the anxiety and depression. Number 4, take advantage of the counseling or therapy. When you are going to college, you are an adult now. So all of those things that you learned in your parents' household, the good and the bad, needs to be unlearned. It's time for you to reparent yourself, because you need to heal and really step into your most authentic and whole version. I know that at my college it was kind of impossible to get a meeting with the counselors, and they barely did anything anyways, but yeah, I still recommend it, because you need to hear yourself talk. You need to hear your thought processes, and you need to hear where your last 20 years of life got you, and it's important to just really go to therapy and get that help so that you can heal those traumas, because when you get out of college, you don't want to pass those traumas that you dealt with onto your children or dumping onto a significant other. You want to make sure that you are feeling good about your life and everything like that. So I also recommend, most schools have student insurance that works in hospitals and with counselors and therapy and things outside of school. So try to look for an off-campus therapist if you don't like the ones that are at the school. Number 5, force yourself to meet different people. Everybody's not a monster. The Black community at ISU was pretty ruthless. It's a typical Black community, honestly. A bunch of messy, immature kids. Essentially, everybody be just acting a little messy. Ugh, I hate it. But I'm not judging. I don't mean to judge anyway. But everybody's not like that. And I'm sure there are people just like you who hate that shit. So or whatever your interests are, I'm sure there are people like you. So meet different people, don't judge a book by its cover, and put yourself in different situations so that you can see where you actually fit in. Number 5, that was number 5. Number 6, get an emotional support animal. I got me an emotional support animal, and she's so cute and cuddly, and she's a kitten and she's a baby, and she makes me feel better. But being responsible for something will help you to distract from your depression. All universities allow students to have emotional support animals. You just have to get a letter from a licensed professional, your doctor or your therapist or somebody like that. I got mine from my therapist. And also your apartment will take it too if you are off campus living. If you are living off campus, your apartment will also take an emotional support animal letter. Number 7, join a club or an organization. This will also distract you from your depression. The aim of the game is to stay busy. So you have to just put yourself in numerous situations so that you can stay busy. I'm almost done, Tuffy. My dog is waiting to get fed. So yeah, join a club and try to get involved on campus, because you will also meet new people. And like I said, being responsible for something, if you can get on the e-board of a organization or anything like that, but having something to look forward to every day will really take away that depression. Number 8, tell your parents what you are going through. They didn't send you to school to be sad and depressed, okay? So if you tell them what you're going through, they're going to want to help. They don't want you up there feeling how you're feeling. So try to get them on your side and see what you guys can come up with to get into another situation. Number 9 is to eat whole and healthy foods. This has a bigger effect on your mood than you think. Eating dead and processed foods with low vibration is going to make you feel low vibrational. You're filling yourself with lifeless food, and you're not going to feel good from that. You need to try to eat more foods with seeds, fruits, vegetables, fresh foods, things that are organic. All of those things will boost your mood and give you more life and more energy for your day. Number 10, clean your room regularly. If your space is cluttered, your mind is probably cluttered, and depression rooms look an effing mess. So I know your room is probably toe up. Get in there and clean that room. And plus that helps in its own cleaning. Last but not least, I recommend to go to class. If you go to class, it's very hard to, I'm not saying you won't get depression, but going to class is going to help you to be around other people. It'll make you feel better to some degree, but it's better than being in your room alone. And if you don't like your classes, that's a problem. Change your classes so that you want to go to them, okay? That's my list. And your depression is not a bad thing. It just means that you have some things you need to work on about yourself, about your life, about your situation, about your circumstances. Wherever the issue is, you got to fix something. And that's all it is. It's just an indication, a big alert, a big warning, I don't want to take your depression lightly. Just please know that I take it very seriously. If you guys like to hear this information, if you like to read this information, you guys can go on my blog and read it from there, wholesomehealinghumans.com. And the link is going to be down below in the description, or maybe not yet. for this video. But that is something I want to tell you guys. I am writing a blog. I'm starting a blog, and it's going to be aimed at healing and just becoming your best, most authentic self, leveling up, and just being your best, especially as a young person, because you might as well start now. You do not want to look down the road and when you're 30 and realize you ain't did shit. So all right, y'all, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching.